like to talk a little bit about an effect in Live called beat repeat. I did put it in the master section here. What it does, as the name implies, is it repeats part of the music in a rhythmical way. Let's just turn it on and see what it does. As you can hear, the first half of each bar is repeated in 16th notes. If I turn it back off, we have the original signal again. Let's have a look at the parameters. The first parameter, which is interesting here, is the gate parameter. It defines how long the repetitions take place. Let's make the gate time shorter. And you see we are only repeating now the first beat. And since the grid, which is the next interesting parameter, is set to a 1/16th note, we have 4 repetitions. If you make the gate time longer, we get more repetitions, or longer repetitions. The next parameter is the grid. Let's make the grid a little bit shorter. Okay, let's get back to a binary grid. We have an offset parameter. The offset parameter defines where in the bar the repetitions start. So let's move the repetitions a little bit. So now we get the triplet repetition of the hi-hat. One thing we haven't changed yet is the first parameter here, interval. Let's go back with the offset to 0 and with the grid to a 16th note. Interval defines how often each bar the repetitions are triggered. Now the repetitions are triggered once per bar. And now only each second bar repetitions take place. And now every quarter means, since the gate time is also 1 quarter note, there's continuous repetitions which are recaptured every quarter note. Or we can go even smaller values. And this is interesting if the grid is very small. For now, we only have, we have repetitions which take place in a very predictable manner. There's no random or nothing involved. Sometimes it's interesting to have things which only apply sometimes. That's where we have the chance parameter for. Let's make the chance smaller than 100%. And now we have sometimes repetitions, sometimes we don't. Let's make it even smaller. Yeah, and maybe at some point we got a random repetition. Okay, here we go. Or we can make the chance completely low to 0, and then we have no repetition at all. But there's also the repeat button. The repeat button creates immediate repetitions whenever it's pressed. The repeat button also works in conjunction with the chance, so you can have a chance and can still superimpose the immediate repeat. A very powerful feature is this simple filter here, which allows to change the color of the repetitions. And the volume control, which allows to change the volume of repetitions. Another interesting parameter in conjunction with the volume parameter is decay. The repetitions can have a slight decay, so they are disappearing. This is a section which defines how the repetitions and the original material are blended together. In mix, there's always the original signal passing through the effect, unchanged, and the repetitions are added. In insert mode, the repetitions replace the original signal. So let's turn on insert mode. And you can clearly hear that during the repetitions there's no input anymore. There's also the gate mode, which only passes repetitions. This does not make so much sense in the master, but could be used, for instance, if you want to specifically use it in a soundtrack. The gate mode is more a specialist mode, while the insert and the mix mode obviously are the more common modes. Let's go back to mix mode, or to insert mode maybe, and have a look at the parameters we did not talk about yet. Pitch is a nice one. Pitch allows to pitch down the repeated notes. The pitch has also a pitch decay mode, which works a little bit similar like the volume decay, but it lowers the pitch each repetition. This is especially funny if you do it with instant repeat, because then the repetitions are falling down till they are really low. You see here a button which I did not explain yet. it's no triplets. As you have realized, I played quite often with the grid parameter while showing this device, and sometimes you like triplets, sometimes triplets are not what you want. For this reason, we implemented this button, which has a simple function. It blocks triplets, no triplets. And now we have only binary repetitions, because if a triplet occurs, it will be justified to be a non-triplet. The last two parameters of this device are variation and the mode of the variation. Variation does exactly what the name implies. It automatically changes the grid so that I don't have to do it manually. And let's just turn it on. So now I don't touch anything anymore, and we've just got lots of different kinds of repetitions. The trigger mode means each time the repetition starts, a new variation is chosen. You can also decide that we want to have variations, for instance, every 16th note, which is especially interesting if we have a longer interval, a longer gate time. Let's make it only each quarter note. And back to 1/16. The most sophisticated mode in this context is auto, which makes sure that each repetition is finished before another change occurs. This creates pretty complex repetitions, especially if the non-triplets option is turned off. And now it's time to go back to mix. Well, this was in brief the Beat Repeat device. I'm pretty sure you'll find a few useful things to do with it.